Hello, I'm Doug Kincaid, President and General Manager of Applied Management Engineering. Our mission is to provide leadership, innovation, and solutions to facilities management issues, and to focus on each client's mission, culture, and desired outcomes to craft real solutions. Thank you.
Welcome to 21st Century Business. I'm Alexander Haig. Maintenance, repairing, and renewing the systems and the components of facilities and infrastructure assets to meet acceptable performance levels can be expensive and difficult. Douglas Kincaid, President and General Manager of Applied Management Engineering, or AME, is here to discuss his company's solutions. Welcome, Doug. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you, Al.
Also joining us is Stormy Friday, President of the Friday Group. Welcome to you as well, Stormy. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you, Al. I'm happy to be here.
Good. Stormy, what challenges do institutional facility and infrastructure owners face when it comes to maintenance?
Well, Al, facilities management, or FM as we typically call it, is facing one of its biggest challenges, and that is aging infrastructure. Buildings have a natural life cycle of about 50 years and without renewal, and yet in our public sector, particularly in our academic institutions, buildings are getting older than that, and it's a major problem. Probably the second challenge would be the fact that we really are not having resources the way we used to. We're seeing a decline in facility management resources. No one wants to endow a boiler or a chiller, so it's very difficult to get money set aside for those kinds of issues. And it's also tough to sell the concept of doing preventive maintenance when a lot of corporations would really rather fix something only when it's broken.
Now your turn, Doug. What is Applied Management Engineering doing to address these challenges?
Well, we've been working on this problem since the early 1980s, and we have developed a condition assessment process to go to our clients and look at their buildings and infrastructure and determine what kind of current condition they're in, what kind of reinvestment they need to place back into those facilities and infrastructure to get them to acceptable level of performance. And then look to the future to make sure that they also have the funding streams necessary to maintain that level of performance, to generate the strategic plan to meet their mission and goals.
Very good. Now, for more on this fascinating subject, let's go to this 21st Century Business Field Report.
AME typically works directly with the facilities department of an organization. In most cases, the value of the assets these departments manage are their single largest financial asset. AME provides data, technology, and analysis necessary to provide solutions that can be accomplished by the facilities department and understood by everyone within an organization.
AME has played a key role in helping the National Park Service develop a data-driven asset management business process. To that end, AME has conducted several thousand facility condition assessments, assisted the National Park Service in utilizing industry standard costing, as well as helping to provide benchmarks for operational and facility maintenance costs.
AME's clients manage facilities and infrastructure assets that represent a significant construction investment. However, the construction cost is a small percentage of the life cycle cost to maintain, repair, and renew the systems and components of these assets at an acceptable level of condition. AME's business and technology solutions are designed to assist the client in understanding, planning, and managing those life cycle costs.
Typically, the initial construction costs represent about 10 to 15% of the overall maintenance cost for an asset throughout its life. The National Park Service is engaged in maintaining these assets in perpetuity. So rather than focusing on the initial capital investment, the National Park Service is beginning to use data in the enterprise system to forecast out-year recapitalization needs and component renewal forecasts.
In the past, sustainability and green design has been focused on new construction, but it is now embracing existing facilities and infrastructure.
Green building is a major initiative within the facilities industry. Initially focused on new construction, it is now being looked at for renovation and rehabilitation. Within the National Park Service, green initiatives are a good cultural fit and dovetail nicely with the mission of the agency.
Applied Management Engineering's published approach and methods for conducting and developing condition assessments are recognized nationally as a benchmark for managing facility and infrastructure assets. Their success is measured by their clients' success. For 21st Century Business, I'm Michael Clark reporting.
Now back to you, Stormy. How has the facilities management environment changed in the last 20 years?
I think the biggest change that we've seen is the increase in professionalism. When people first got into facilities management, as Doug and I well know, people kind of fell into it. There were lots of people who called people in facilities management mops and cop shops. Now they're very professional and they're credentialed. I think also that the extent of globalism has had a huge impact on the whole facilities management industry. And facility management folks are now considered to be experts. Sometimes they, in their companies, are involved in strategic decision making, and that's the kind of expertise that we're looking for in our industry.
Very good. Now back to you, Doug. How has technology impacted the industry today?
Well, technology has really enabled the industry to look not to Joe the mechanic and his knowledge and his brain trust of how the facility is operating and performing, but really to collect information and data on the performance of the facilities, their systems, to track the history of those systems, and to be able to make business decisions. As Stormy mentioned, the facilities management profession is more of a business profession now, and so they need to be able to make the business case and compete with the dollars within their organization.
Very good. Again, for you, Stormy, in a limited funding environment, how are facility managers making decisions?
Carefully and strategically. Now it's important for facility managers to look at the impact on the business bottom line, to make sure that they understand where their companies and the industry is headed, and how they can actually have an impact when it comes to the finances, the metrics, etc.
You again, Doug. What does the general public not understand about the challenges of maintaining facility and infrastructure assets?
Well, they don't usually see what's behind the scenes. So they look at the end product or the outcome, and if they're satisfied with it, they accept it. An example of that may be at the Grand Canyon, for an example, where there are wastewater systems and water systems that are miles long. But if the water turns on and the toilets flush, everybody's happy, but they don't understand the magnitude of the maintenance that has to take place to maintain that. Another example might be the World War II Memorial, which from the surface is nice fountains, a nice structure, but underneath there are pumps and motors and water filtration systems that take 24/7 operations to maintain and operate.
Very good. Now, Stormy, how is the industry moving towards sustainable facilities?
That's also one of the biggest issues that facility professionals are facing. Sustainability goes beyond even being green or LEED certification, as it's called in our profession. It also is, how do you deal with infrastructure that can't handle the changes in technology, the need to be more energy efficient? How do you create facilities that are going to sustain us into the future, given all of the changes and the things that are occurring?
All right, now, Doug, how has AME distinguished itself in the industry?
Well, we were probably one of the first companies that really had this as a service, defined service, and provided it to our clients. We've also been very active in participating in the industry and determining benchmarks. We've published a lot of the benchmarks, such as the Facility Condition Index. We've developed preventive maintenance standards, O&M modeling. So we've kind of shared with the industry what we think is needed out there in the industry to make those strategic decisions. Additionally, I think that we've identified that each of our clients is different. And so we don't have a cookie-cutter solution for everybody, that you have to understand the client, their mission, their goals, and their culture also to make sure you're making the correct decisions.
Well, and Doug, how has AME adjusted its approach to provide service to its clients?
I think the biggest change out has been in the last 20 years is that we started out creating a lot of data. And so we typically would turn over to our clients a tremendous amount of information about their facilities and the condition of those facilities. But what we've learned is the ugly secret they don't tell you in engineering school. You have to be able to sell the answer. So you have to be able to also take that information, analyze it, and tell the story of those facilities and what impact those facilities are going to have on the mission and goals and objectives of that particular client.
Very good. Then, Doug, how has your company incorporated technology into its services?
Well, back in the mid-'80s, we started developing our own software system, and we developed that, turning it over to our clients so they can manage the information. We also developed a cost estimating system embedded in there so they get a lot of consistency out of that. And in recent years, what we've done is really become paperless. With the advent of using tablets and being able to collect so much information in the field on tablets, paper is kind of out the window now.
Good. Now back to you, Stormy. Are educational institutions producing students that will move into the facility and infrastructure maintenance industry with the proper skills?
They are indeed. As a matter of fact, 2-year and 4-year academic institutions have degree programs in facilities management, which we didn't have 20 years ago. There are also many in-place training programs available now through associations like IFMA, which is the primary association for facilities management, BOMI, which is the Building Owners and Management Institute. They provide training and education for seasoned as well as new entrants. So we are, in fact, developing people with skills both in the business world and also technical skills.
Very good. Now, Stormy, what knowledge, skills, and abilities are required to manage facilities?
Probably more important now than ever before is the fact that they need to have business skills. They need to have an understanding of a financial balance sheet. They need to be able to know metrics and to be able to do benchmarking. How do they compare with their peers and how do they compare with best practices? They also need to have marketing skills. Facilities management is dealing with internal customers, internal clients, and so they need to be able to sell what they have to offer to their clients and to senior executives. And so those are important kinds of skills as well.
Now, Stormy, how does the facility manager communicate needs and issues within their organization and to customers outside their organization?
The most important thing, Al, I think, is for facility managers, facility professionals to be able to have a seat at the board table. They need to be able to get the issues of facilities management in front of senior executives. They also have to go around and do a lot of dog and pony shows with other executives in their companies to make sure they build a constituency, a base of people who are loyal and who really respect and understand facilities management. And then they're doing all the smart, savvy marketing things that organizations do. They have websites, they have town meetings, they have blogs, they have newsletters. So they're really becoming quite masterful at getting the information and the word out.
Very good. Now, at this juncture, we take a look at the future. So what we'd like to do is to ask you, Doug, to make a prediction for the near term in your business, the next year or two, what you see coming.
Well, I think the education of our client and the leaderships within the organizations that we work with is a key. And I think that's a never-ending process, that we continue to look at what the impact of the condition of facilities plays on their facilities. We also look at the sustainability issue. It's becoming to the forefront. We want to be able to take to our clients what types of actions they can take that are cost benefit and both environmentally benefit to them.
Very good. Now, Stormy, what's your take on this future?
I think I would probably have to add to what Doug's already said by saying globalization. Somebody quite well known recently told me that globalization is a fact. And we need to deal with that in facilities management. Global facilities and real estate are here to stay. I think probably the other major future issue that we're going to have to grasp is that we have to keep up with the changing technology. We have to have people with the requisite skills who are dealing with future issues while at the same time dealing with our infrastructure that is older and is not quite up to speed in terms of being able to handle those capabilities.
Well, the clock tells me that we've consumed our period here. But before saying farewell, I think it's important to thank you, Doug, for your very, very fine presentation today.
Thank you, Al.
And Stormy, you were also superb, and I'm very grateful to both of you. And thank you for watching. Until next time, for 21st Century Business, I'm Alexander Haig.